Hi, my name is Dina Deleasa-Gonsar from DishItGirl.com. Welcome back to my kitchen. It's been way too long. So 2 things about this video. Number 1, you're probably gonna hear my daughter in the background, but that is real life and that is what Dish It Girl is about. Number 2, this is gonna be your new favorite fall meal. We're going to be doing an apple bacon stuffed pork loin. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna teach you how to butterfly the pork loin, make the stuffing super duper easy, and it's gonna be your new fall star. Let's get started. All right, the first thing I did was I took some thick cut bacon. That's the way I like it for something like this. And I sauteed it until it was super duper crispy. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm just gonna run my knife through the bacon. It's nice and crispy, helps with cutting it, makes it a little bit easier. It's also cooled down, so don't be taking hot bacon out of the pan, scalding your fingers, and then like sliding into my DMs complaining about it. No thanks. All right, so we're gonna break that up, crumble it up. If you wanna crumble it with your hands, no problem. I'm trying to be more civil, use the knife. Okay, so here we go. I've got my crumbled, crushed bacon. Awesome knife skills here. Gonna save this. The second thing I've done is I've taken some shallots and some apples. You know we're all apple picking this season. Here's something to do with your apples. So in the pan, we have a tablespoon of olive oil. We have a tablespoon of shallots that are sauteed until they're translucent. Then we have about 3/4 of a cup of chopped apples in here, skin removed. Gonna saute that. Again, let it cool down before you handle it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my bacon, throw it in the pan, gonna mix that around because why dirty another dish? And this is gonna be my stuffing. Keep in mind, added a pinch of kosher salt, a pinch of pepper. Don't stress, the full recipe will be on DishItGirl.com. Okay, now the big guns here. We have your pork loin. And what we're gonna do is butterfly it, which simply just means we're gonna be cutting it, but not cutting it all the way through. So this roll here opens up to a flat surface. So make sure you have a good knife. I like to use a sharp serrated knife for this. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more room so you can see. And what's so awesome about this recipe as well is it's a 1-pan meal. Yes, I'm gonna put this pork loin in the foil and then I'm gonna put my potatoes around it and it's all gonna go into the oven together. So first thing is first, we're going to make a slit. Again, don't cut all the way through. We're just gonna make a slit down the middle of our pork loin. It's kind of like K-turning. That's what I think of when I do this. All right, you're gonna spread it open. And you see that there's a seam there. So you're just going to run your knife along the seam. Again, don't cut through. Then you're gonna see there's a flat surface here on your pork loin. You're gonna cut that again. Again, not cutting it all the way through. We're just trying to make this flatten out. And you're gonna see as you make these cuts through the pork loin, how it opens up and it's making like a little bed for you to put your stuffing in, okay? And I just keep cutting through, opening up. So I've made about 3 slits. I started with 1 down the middle, opened it up. Then I started with 1 down the side, 1 down the other side. And here we go. See how we're already flat in here? Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is wash my hands. And then I'm gonna do some salt and pepper and seasoning. Okay, so now that I've washed the hands, I'm gonna season the pork loin, which I've just butterflied. So I'm gonna take some kosher salt, gonna give it a generous sprinkle in there. I'm gonna go through it twice. There we go. I also like to use onion and garlic powder when I'm seasoning meat. So I'm gonna do a little bit of onion. It's mimicking the shallots that are. And I like to layer my seasoning, just a little hit of garlic. Okay, and then, 1 second. Got some pepper, just a little bit of pepper. Very, very nice. All right, so then I'm gonna take it's cooled down again, mind you. You don't wanna work with like blazing hot apples. Apples, bacon, shallots, sweet, salty, it's all good up in there. And I have a little bit of rosemary that I sauteed as well. That's gonna add a nice flavor. I'm just gonna spread that out. And then I'm gonna get to rolling. So it's kind of like rolling a burrito. So you see those people doing that at Qdoba or Chipotle, same thing. So we're gonna roll forward, make sure we're tucking in. And you wanna kind of take the stuffing, and I like to kind of just pull it back there. Okay, we're gonna roll forward, tuck in again. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my kitchen twine after I wash my hands. And I'm gonna wrap it up and we'll show you how you do that. Again, nothing to be afraid of. You're just taking some regular old kitchen twine or thin rope that you have. So here we go. We have a long piece of string, and I'm going to slide that underneath the pork loin, and at the end I'm gonna give it my first little tie or crisscross right here. You see the crisscross? I'm gonna crisscross it over, then I'm gonna bring it back underneath, and it'll crisscross underneath for me too. A little tricky there, but we got it. Okay, and you're gonna pull it. Okay, you're almost creating almost like a little basket for it to sit in. Right, so it comes up to like through the middle of the pork loin. You're gonna crisscross it again. Bring it back down and around, crisscross it underneath. You're gonna bring it back up and tie it in a little knot, okay? And that's gonna help keep this pork loin from spilling its guts out all over the place. I mean the stuffing, the apple and bacon stuffing. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna transfer this onto the foil, and I'm going to make a little bit of a rub slash marinade. It's a wet rub, we'll say. We're gonna use some salt, some pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and some grainy mustard. You wanna go with the grainy mustard, not just your plain like Golden's mustard. You wanna see those mustard seeds in there. So now we're going to be making the wet rub. So I use some grainy mustard. I have about 2 tablespoons here. Again, the mustard that where you see those seeds, that's what you want to be using here. I'm going to sprinkle in some kosher salt. It's a very, very simple rub. Again, with some black pepper. And then I'm going to take some rosemary. Gonna chop it up, got it right here on my board. Just run my knife through. Okay, just a drop of olive oil. We're gonna give that a quick whisk. Combine it. Then we're gonna pour it on top of the length of the pork loin. Here we go. And then we're going to spread it out as evenly as we can over the top. Honestly, a lot of the times I'll use my hands, but I'm gonna try to be more civil about it. Use this little spatula I got here. You wanna try to see if you can get it into all those little crevices we got going on. This is gonna bake on top of and into the pork loin. It just gives it a really gorgeous, gorgeous flavor. All right, there we go. So this is gonna go into the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. Then I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna add in my potatoes. So I'll give you a little look what it's gonna look like. You're just going to take the potatoes If you want to cut them down, you totally can. I've got some purple, some red, some white. You can use whichever kind you like, and then you're gonna season them up as well. And I tried to use the same type of flavors that I used in the pork. So that's just gonna go with a little bit of olive oil. Gonna get in. Okay. A little bit of kosher salt. And I'm gonna lay some pieces of rosemary in here just to help us out a bit. And I would put these back in the oven at about 425 for another 20 minutes, all right?